Hello and welcome to Hey Clarity. I'm your host, Lindsay, and today is F week. We're in F week, and there's a lot going on in the world collectively, and it's been really hard to focus and figure out what to do a reading on. So, thank you for answering the poll of the suggestions. We had suggestions of future food, the future of food, fear, and none of that in this moment came forward to want to be given a reading on. And so I sat with it and I'm like, okay, well, there's so much going on right now. Like, what is the appropriate thing to do a reading on today? And they said foresight. So there's actually a mix of things. They said freedom, they said fighting, and they said foresight. And so foresight was the strongest. I also was considering doing like a free flow, but there's so much information coming through. Lately, I'm like really struggling to sleep. My meditations are showing me visions. Like even when I'm not intentionally trying to tap in, like I'm getting a lot. So I'm becoming very overwhelmed with information. And it's really important to tune out and rest your eyes and rest so that you can be clear and clear-sighted and your information is not having wires crossed, right? Really important. And so it's taken me a little while to settle into what this reading was going to be. And it's important. So they settled on foresight as the reading for today. When I say F week, I've been doing this alphabet superset. I'll leave information in the description box below. I would like to maintain some structure over these next many weeks. And I'll feel out if and when it's appropriate for me to do a reading on something else. I know there's a lot going on right now in the collective, and if you want me to do readings on certain things, I will do them as well. But I want to have some structure with these readings, and so I'm going to continue doing them, even though there are things that are more important on my mind. So I'm going to keep showing up and giving you information on these topics. Maybe they will lighten things up a little bit, but regardless, you are always going to find helpful, important messages within each reading. There's always something in here for everyone. So foresight. So I opened the Akashic Records on foresight prior to hitting record. And so we're in the records of foresight right now. What is the opening message or opening visual around the topic of foresight? They're saying like layer, foundation, clear sight. The ability to access, to process information that is foresight requires steps, a foundation that supports clear sight. They're saying, like hindsight, you realize there's a connection of dots. Foresight, the ability to like zero in and focus on, I'm getting like, there's what happened, what's happening, what's going to happen. The foresight requires clear sight. Unbalanced, no direction, no focus, no foresight. So there needs to be this laid out, and it's interesting, they're showing this like almost like a spiral. Like I'm seeing how like they make those like adobe domes, and they have these like filled long tubes filled with material, and you wrap it in a spiral. It's like something like really sturdy. There needs to be a sturdy foundation for you to access clear sight. So a layering of foundations. So step by step, can you share with us what that foundation is and how we can access our foresight? They're saying sleep dreams, rest, get a good night's sleep. Like a child, like treat yourself with like the gentleness of like setting up a child in their bedroom to go to sleep. Like you need the same. I'm getting like, what's the lighting that relaxes you? What's the temperature, the comfort in your bed? Like it's so important for you to be relaxed and well rested. And I'm getting like turned off, turned down. And they're showing me like a young child or like a baby's room, and it's like the TV's not on. There's not like a phone around. Like there isn't like stuff all around to like distract them. I'm getting like, it's like they're happy things. So they're saying like your sanctuary, your sleep, your dream space, you need to be well rested. And it's very important for that space that you sleep in to be cleared of information and distractions. Because they're saying you're going from like unbalanced to balanced, and sleeping well and being well rested is a requirement of being like focused and clear. So that's, they're saying first, your rest, being well rested. What's the next step? Healthy wellness, nutrients, nutrition, a nutrition guide, know your body, know your limitations, know your allergic reactions, know your sensitivities, food. They're showing like someone like trying all these different foods and knowing what upsets them, what upsets your system, right? What kind of wreaks havoc on your balance internally. And then like the things that like satiate, fulfill, fill, and make your body quiet and balanced. Because what they're saying is if you've taken in like unhealthy or like toxic or like not real nutrients, food, nutrition, it exacerbates and like confuses your signals. So they're saying like clear is balanced. Your nutrition, the system, balanced system. Your body parts are comfortable. They're saying like quiet and at peace. So like the system, the holistic well-being, your vessel is balanced inside, like internally. So they're like, you know, when things kind of like upset your tummy, upset your stomach, something you ate makes you feel sick, like you're uncomfortable because your body is trying to like detox that thing. And it's spending all this energy. They're saying like waste, right? It's like wasted energy, exacerbation, stress, hormones, imbalances to try to like calm down and like reach homeostasis and balance again. So they're saying like a well, healthy, balanced diet. All right, and they're saying like as best you can. What's the third step? Focused attention, one at a time. Not like split decision making, not confusion, not the tornadoes of our minds. So if you're in the place of like confusion and fear, and they're showing like a tornado in front of my face, and it's got these words kind of swirling around like, I hate this sucks, complaints, confusion, fear, distraction, problem solving. Like there's all these things like swirling. They're saying a quiet place, like in your mind or in a space. Like no distractions. No distractions so you can have clear distinctions, better discernment. like a quiet place, a quiet mind, peace of mind, balanced mind, meditation. They're saying tremendously puts you in that place. So they're saying like the setup is like sleep well, meditation, ideally. But they're saying, but your focused mind, peaceful mind, your focused mind, your intentional mind is, and they're saying question mark and then curiosity. Like these are like the key steps. So then there's the question. Ask your questions in a quiet place. And then they're saying, listen for your answers non-judgmentally. Who you are asking is also important. So it's like, are you touching base with spirit guides? Are you touching base with like your higher self, higher influence, you? Are you touching base with the Akashic Records, passed on loved ones? Who are you asking is also very important so that you know who you're getting the information from. So they're saying be direct, like focus your attention. Who are you asking? Give it a direction and wait for your answers to come. So they're saying like, wait, and this is something that takes practice and patience. And again, meditation tremendously helps to put you in this state of being, to be open to receiving instructions, information. A quiet place, a quiet time. Meditation, solving answers. So this meditative state is this foundation, right? So there are all these things that are generally very required to have clear sight, focused insight, clean and clear information and messages coming through for you to share. What is foresight? They're kind of like fortune teller. Why are you saying that? Ancient, like ancient human abilities, normal, they're like normal additives of like human beingness, but stigma, fortune teller, witch, mystery, bad guy. There's a lot of judgment around foresight, future seekers, future seers. And they're saying that like that bad rap is a problem because there are a lot more ways for the connection of foresight and problem solving and getting information and messages and sharing by listening. They're like, be listening. But because of all this like stigma around it, and they're saying threatened by you, like if you're a foresight, if you're a fortune teller, if you're a witch, you're a bad guy, you can see the future. And they're saying like, yeah, like use it against you. Like there's so many like threats around having foresight. Fortune seers, there's something about it just being used for like kind of like negative feelings, like to overcome negative feelings, to like skip the feelings. Like there's something about like, staying open to the present. Why are you telling us this? Foreseeing, to be prepared. I'm getting that like some people are meant to be these foresight, foreseers, foreseekers. And like other people are meant to be like mixed of like past, present, future, some just present, some past, they're like historians. They're kind of like all of the abilities. Like we have all these different abilities. So some people can see the future, some can see all three, some can see the present very clearly, and some can see the past very clearly. And they're like all of them, they're like all mixed up, but like all of them have a place. And so whether you are a future seer, you know, very present seer, or if you are like historian, historical, like a past hindsight seer, like you see these things very well. Everyone, or you do all of them, they all serve a purpose. But in this case, we're talking about foresight specifically. But they just want to let you know that like all of the sights, right? There's like the 360 view, and they're like as above, so below, as within, so without. And they're just like, there's all these directions that we have sensitivities to, that we draw information from, that we draw messages from, that we can share messages from. And so it's like they're saying permeable, like we're permeable, like the spirit, right? They're showing us like we can go through walls, like we can go through spaces. We have the transcending moments. We have transcending abilities. We are able to float around. Why are you telling us that? To be empowering. So they're saying like, bring it to the present moment. And this is why they want to talk about foresight. Problem solving. When problem solving. Involvement of wars. There's foresight for peace. There's foresight for more war. And if you don't know that you have the choice and that you have the ability, that you can tap in, then they're kind of saying you could be caught off guard. And so it's kind of like be in preparation mode and acknowledge that you have these clear-sighted abilities. You have clear-sightedness. You have the ability of focused attention and inquiry and being open and receptive to receive messages and to start taking advantage of those abilities right now. Right now. And they're saying, ideally, your abilities serve you well in remaining, they're saying, balanced and more peaceful, more hopeful, prepared, thoughtful, thought-provoking, impressed by yourself, impressed by your human beingness, the abilities of seers. We are seers. We are able to do this. We have foresight. We have the ability to be super zeroed in and focused on the present, right? They're showing like something really intense happening right in the present moment. And you know how things start happening in slow motion? It's like everything is like you are so zeroed in and so very focused on the moment that it moves in slow motion. And they're saying like, those are abilities. Those are abilities. And when we're in these like heightened states of sensitivity, we can access them as long as we are focused and clear-sighted. And then they're going back to the foundation. So they're saying, okay, if there's the turmoil, there's the stress, and you can't focus, you're so distracted, you're stressed, you're in fear state, you're in survival mode. They're saying, light bulb, check out, rest, find a quiet place, be silent, and listen, and ask your questions. And they're kind of saying, and find out. You know, even ask those questions, like find out. Ask about future stuff, whatever you want to ask. Anything you want to ask, just ask your questions. The future, the past, the present. And I'm getting, again, who are you asking? Like, be really clear. Do you want to talk to a passed on loved one? Do you want to call on a grandparent? Do you want to call on a parent? Are you aware of a particular spirit guide? Do you want to ask a spirit guide to come forward and introduce themselves? Take advantage of your, they're saying, right abilities to have this contact, this connection with other realms and other worlds for support. Foresight, future, preparation. Like to get ahead of it, right? So instead of sitting here paralyzed in fear about collective global experiences, or even it's happening immediately in your environment, if you have the ability, the safety to find a quiet place, to be silent and to listen and to ask your questions and sit there and you'll receive an answer. And they're saying you might receive the answer in just boop, knowing. You might receive the answer in like a slight kind of like faint audible, right? You get words. Who are you talking to? Grandma, what's this? What do you think I should do? Whoever you're speaking to. Do you see them with your eyes closed? Do you meet in dreams? They're saying you can, before you go to bed, access your subconscious mind. If your conscious mind is so like closed off to this or judgmental, just before you go to sleep, you're going to be in this like surrendered subconscious state in sleep. Before you go to bed, set the intention. Who do you want to connect with? What question do you want to ask before you go to bed? They're kind of saying like, say your prayers before bed. Set your intentions before bed so that you have an answer. You have information, a message, something is shared with you while you're sleeping, and it's very clear when you wake up. And then when you wake up, you write it down. What was in your dream? Who were you speaking with? Did they give you a dream of, did you see a scenario? How did you feel in that dream? And then they're saying, and then there's the point of reflection. And then they're saying like don't be irresponsible. Like make sure that you're clear, that you are balanced, that you are well rested. They're saying like no drugs, no alcohol. Like don't be under the influence, do this, and then think that you're clear-sighted because you're not. They're saying you're foggy. You might have some accurate information, but you can't really know for sure. And so it's better that if you're doing this, that you are, they're saying like stone cold sober, healthy, balanced, right? Like there isn't the like kind of like they're getting like they're showing like alcohol like shutting down parts of your brain, and you know it's like you might hear something or you're tapping into something that's unfamiliar or like kind of invited. That's another story. That's a whole other story. But clean, clear, sighted, sober, open, receptive, open to receive messages and information, curiosity, question. Don't forget your questions. What's the most important message we need to know about foresight? If you can't see it, wait. If you're asking about something and you're not getting the information, it's kind of like you're not supposed to be getting the information right now. So wait and be present. Maybe that's not something that's important for you to know. Maybe there's something else. And so you might ask a question and not get an answer because you think it's important. And they're like, there's something else that's important. And so then you can give it back to them and say, well, if you won't show me this, what will you show me? What can you show me? What can you tell me? What do I need to know right now, right? Generalized questions. What is an opening message or what's an opening visual that you can share with me? Or as like I love to ask always, I always end every reading with, what's the most important message I need to know right now? So you can give that up and be clear before you tell something to someone else. Like I'm getting like, do your own personal like checks and balances, like discernment practice. Like you might need practice of proof and evidence of your foresight. So in the beginning, if you've never done this before, like take little bits, little baby steps with it, where you ask a question, they tell you something, you get something, foresight, you wait for it to come. And then you write down, check, that came, that was accurate. Keep practicing unless you have 100% accuracy. And then you know that you are clear, you're clear-sighted, you have this connection that's clear-sighted, you can trust it, you're comfortable. They're saying available on both sides, right? You being available to receive the information, and whoever you're connecting to or whatever you're connecting to is also available to like give you the information. So they're just saying like, you know, precision and practice, and like, you know, if there is any uncertainty, like don't share that information. And they're saying like, do not be in fear. Do not be in fear when you're sharing information. Be like neutral, homeostasis, balance. And they're saying like that balance is when you can trust what's coming through, when it feels really clean and really clear. And they're saying even if it sucks, even if the information sucks, it's coming through you. Even if the information itself is maybe scary, but if you're receiving it and you still feel balanced when you're receiving it, that is clean and clear and you can trust it. It's aligned, it's a yes, right? So if you're kind of stirred up in fear, disaster, turmoil, they're saying just wait for yourself to feel like balanced. And they're saying like do like 3 checks, right? It's like ask at one point, ask the question, you get an answer. Ask at another point, ask the question, you get an answer, write it down. Third time, write it down, and then check. They're like checks and balances, checks and balances. Like it takes the practice of checks and balances for you to begin to like trust yourself and trust the connection that you're having with spirit guide, Akashic Records, past on loved ones, whoever it is that you're connecting with for this support and information. It could be higher self, right? You. So all of those places are your sources, your messages, your information. And they can lead you, they can show you a pathway, they can show you a direction, focused. So they're saying like, pay attention. Again, what's the most important message you need to know about foresight? They're saying like the ending, like there is no ending. There is no ending. Like of the times, they're showing like things fall. They're like showing you like going down a path. You're kind of like going down the road, going down your journey of life and lives and lifetimes. And they're like, this falls and that falls and this explodes and that explodes. And it's like you're going down and you see these things, like things get built and things go down and things get built and things go down. And it's just, you're just like, you keep going on this road and just like all of this stuff is kind of happening, like almost like in passing, right? And so the foresight is like you're on this road and there's things that are happening like beside you in real time. And then you can see up into a certain point in the distance, right? Like I'm on this road and I see it going like really, really far straight ahead of me. So there's there's mountains way, way, way back. And so like I can see where this road is going and I can see the mountains and I see certain things that are coming. So you can see pretty far into the future. And they're kind of like, it depends on how far you want to ask about. It depends on how far into the future you want to ask your questions. And they're kind of saying like, it can't always be guaranteed if like there are collective changes. Like some things are kind of inevitably going to happen because there have been patterns unfolding for a long time. And so it's like, yeah, this is going to happen. And then there are other things that they're saying are potentially movable if there is collective action to change it. So they're saying like, be a matter of change. Be a person of change, be people of change. So do not be irresponsible with your foresight. And if you see something that sucks in the future, your responsibility is to then ask the questions of how can we avoid this disaster? How can we avoid this calamity? What can we do in preparation of it? And that's the information that you share. Because they're saying like will and power, willpower. Collectively, if enough collective energy, consciousness, if enough people are on board with the decision, preparation, creative decision making to avoid a certain disaster, they're like, you can do it. You can change the future by manipulating the present. You do not have to, they're kind of showing someone just kind of like sitting back and driving in their car, like through the disaster. Whoa, look at that disaster. Whoa, they're like, you don't have to just like sit back and ride through it and just look at it. They're saying like passerby. Like you can actually manipulate and change the possibilities of the future. So they're like doom and gloom. Why? Like it doesn't have to be like that. But enough people, there needs to be enough collective people, enough collective energy in preparation and kind of like changing, right? So they're showing this one road and they're like, yeah, but you could build another road in another direction. So like lay the pavement for that other pathway, that other direction. Your insight, your foresight, like take responsibility that you see pathways going in a direction, the inevitable ones, and you can create more pathways going in other directions. So there's not just one direction. There are all directions, many directions. But if we're all focused on this one doom and gloom direction, they're saying, well, holy shit. They're saying, holy shit show. You are in for a lot of disaster if everyone's focused on this one highly potential outcome. But they're saying you can change it. Evolution, change, evolve, be different, do something different, be brave, be bold, be creative, start a new pathway, show a new way, show a new direction. So use your foresight to be like, oh shit, we're going here, but we've got options. We can also go here and here and here. Tell everybody about that. Tell everybody about the other options. Plant those seeds in people's minds. And then that foresight serves you well. Okay, is there anything else? Something about speed. Be speedy with the solutions, with the problem solving. Like if you're getting a hint of like, oh shit, we're doing this really wrong, but we could totally do this and it could work. It's gonna work, but we have to get enough people on board. They're like, be speedy. Like use speediness with the new pathways. They're saying like new paradigm, new world, new plans. Like get that information out there. Tell something about it, get something about it, share something about it. Okay. So that was the Akashic Records on Foresight. I hope you found that helpful. Practice what they suggested. Do your best. And if you have questions about any of that, feel free to reach out to me in the comment section below. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Be well, stay safe.